A little over 2 years ago, Disney announced they were shutting down Blue Sky Studios. I won't go into the why, but needless to say, I was devastated. Ever since I first saw Ice Age back in 2002, I've been a fan of this animation studio in Connecticut and their wonderfully creative stories and characters, ranging from those prehistoric animals, to tropical birds, to tiny people living in the trees, to even Snoopy, Horn the Elephant, and Ferdinand the Bull. The movies have meant a lot to me, and I was sad they were unnecessarily discarded like this when they could have been such a great contributor to a studio that has prided itself on its animation legacy. At the time, they were working on Nimona, an adaptation of ND Stevenson's graphic novel. For a while, it seemed like that would never see the light of day. Thankfully, Annapurna, DNEG, and Netflix have come to the rescue and helped bring it to completion. After watching Nimona, I'm so happy they stepped up and allowed the film to be finished. According to directors Nick Bruno and Troy Quane, several of the assets from Blue Sky's time making the film remained intact, and it's pretty close to the film they were working on in Connecticut. So yes, I do consider this the final Blue Sky Studios production. The beginning of the film has an intriguing setup with a knight who's framed for killing the queen, but the story really gets into full swing when Nimona enters the picture. From the moment she was introduced, I was immediately a fan of this character. The animators give so much life to her as she bounces across the screen, and there are parts where she gets a laugh from just a facial expression. Her shape-shifting abilities are also depicted in highly creative ways. The dynamic that develops between Nimona and Ballister the Knight is wonderfully done, and some of the best moments involve their scenes together. Credit should also go to Chloe Grace Moretz and Riz Ahmed for their voice work. I've been impressed with Moretz since her role as Hit Girl, and she helps make Nimona into a delightful character with a ton of energy. However, the film also digs into why she chooses to cause mischief, and there's a lot of sympathy for her. The world that ND Stevenson has created here and the filmmakers have adapted adds a lot to its appeal. I really dig that it's a combination of medieval times with more futuristic elements, and the artist did a lovely job of melding them together. It's one of those films where I admire so much the background details, from the buildings, in-universe advertisements, and even the subway station. The animation style gives Nimona its own unique look that allows it to stand out. Lately, we've seen a lot of computer-animated films with a heavy hand-drawn influence in the designs and the way the characters move. However, what's great is that movies like Nimona, both Spider-Verses, the Peanuts movie, The Bad Guys, and others look distinct from each other. There are other little touches too, like a scene made to look like wall tiles. Beyond the animation and the humor, the themes explored here add a lot to the characters, especially Nimona herself. She has her wild side, but the movie also peels away to her and how being seen as a monster by the rest of the kingdom has affected her. When the movie reveals her backstory, it's a genuinely heartbreaking moment. Knowing ND Stevenson's own story, one can see even more of the subtext, and that creates an added poignancy. You have a character who does not want to be clearly defined as one thing, and feels comfortable when being able to take another form. Meanwhile, other people view Nimona as some monster. At one point, a major character spreads misinformation to create distrust within the populace. It's difficult not to watch this film from the perspective of current events and the historical treatment of LGBTQ people. And these themes work in enriching the world and these characters, which I'm sure will resonate so much with those who relate to Nimona. I'm not a member of the LGBTQ community, but I notice how they're demonized for just existing, and I find that truly rotten. All the character arcs are well developed for not just Nimona, but Ballister too, as he learns more about the kingdom's system and questions his long-held allegiance and beliefs. The film moves at a quick pace, although I never found it too hyperactive. Although there were a couple parts where I thought, wow, we're at the story beat already? There's a point where it seems like the story is reaching its conclusion, but was not quite at the hour mark, so I knew more conflict was going to arise. I'm not criticizing the film for this, though. It's merely an example of just how engaging Nimona is. Nick Bruno and Troy Quane did such a great job directing the film, giving it the same zippy energy and solid character interactions they brought to their previous film, Spies in the Skies. It's absolutely a worthy send-off for Blue Sky and shows how much they were unfortunately cut short way too soon when they had many more creative stories to tell us. However, Nimona also proves that while the building may be closed and their filmmakers and artists have spread off to other animation studios, their spirit will remain in the movies these talented creators make in the future. I'm really pleased Annapurna, DNEG, and Netflix arrived to save Nimona because this is a story that needed to be told, and it was brought to life so vividly by Bruno, Quane, and the rest of the production team. Give Nimona a watch on Netflix and let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching.